Chris caught it on camera, don't worry about it. We'll all see it later.
Not the first time. I'm ready.
Okay, good afternoon everyone, my 9th grade class. Just for a second, I want you guys to ponder real quick. Think about this question, maybe write a little bit down. What are some things that have happened in your life, some events, some people, maybe your family, friends? What experiences have you had that impact who you are today? And how have they affected you? So just think about that for a few minutes. I'm going to get some stuff set up over here. So Matt, we're just thinking about what events, what family members, friends have impacted who you are today, and how. Okay, so while you're tying up your thoughts, I want you to turn and talk to the person next to you and share your ideas. It could be groups of 3, nothing important.
I once flew to all night. I'm still upset about it today.
I just put my parents my sister.
Things that happened 20 years ago, like people are dead, I'm still afraid.
Like when I was, you know, when I was around a lot, so like
I was in a wedding, I was
there's kids on my block that
the lady behind me kept going,
Jacob was the oldest, so we have a friend that's 2 years older than me. This is how this person's shit.
But I know like nowadays kids don't have
Like shape.
Cars would come,
It's like
trailer stuff out of the street.
Yeah, it's funny, because it seems like that's
Okay, class. Does anybody want to volunteer and share their experiences? Eric, you got a good one?
Once for high school, we had hockey tryouts. I drove to the wrong ice rink for tryouts,
Oh, no.
so that was scarring.
All right. Anybody else have any other examples? Danielle?
Mine was also high school. I was the cheerleading captain, and I feel like that kind of helped me have like a leadership role.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Anybody else? John?
Yeah, we had some good conversations, but I was just thinking of, actually, this is total geek, my cooperating teacher right now, I think, and becoming a teacher, and him in particular, is sort of being like a current effect in my life.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So sometimes the people that you're around, the events that you're a part of, maybe it could be scarring, maybe for you it could have a positive outcome. So we see how the things around us can really have an effect on us and can change our lives. It can really impact us. If you want to just take some of these and pass them. So when this happens in literature, this can be called a loss of innocence. So I made up some handouts, so I put up on the board.
Oh, yes. This is exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we're on the right track.
Exactly.
Okay, so in order to understand exactly what a loss of innocence is, we first have to understand what innocence means. So innocence can be defined as freedom from sin, moral wrong, or guilt. It can be described as freedom from deceit and harmfulness, simplicity, or a lack of knowledge or understanding. That last one is really what it is. It's a lack of knowledge about, like we said, an event, maybe some friends, maybe some family can bring in these things that change us. So the loss of innocence in a book is described as when a character grows up and loses their childish ways of seeing things. I know I walked by your conversation, Lindsay, before, and you said it made you grow up, or it gave you more confidence. And that's exactly what a loss of innocence is, or in Eric's case, it might have a negative effect on you. So there's some different ways that this can be done. There's external and internal loss of innocence. As we talked about, external would be your friends, your family, maybe parents and teachers, your family. I think, Matt, you were talking about your family. I heard that when I was walking by. It could also be an event, maybe like a death, as we saw in the book. Emma's death obviously is a big one. It could be people saying and doing mean things, but it could also be something internal. It could be getting in trouble, misbehaving, lying, hurting somebody on purpose. So any of these things are considered a loss of innocence. So we're going to do a small activity. I'm going to pass out. Here they are. So we're going to break up into 4 groups. So let's see. We'll do the 3 of you, you 3, and you 2. I'm going to give each group a sheet of paper. So you guys are going to be group 1, so you'll be January, okay? You are going to be September. You are October. And you are November. You're welcome. So what I want you to do is look at the assigned chapter that I gave you. The page numbers are there. And I want you to, on that blank sheet of paper, you can draw pictures, you can write quotes, just include anything in that chapter that you think describes a loss of innocence. And when you're finished, you're going to come up here, we'll put it on the doc cam, and you guys can explain it a little bit so the rest of the class can see how many examples there really are in this book, because there's a ton. Oh, and I have markers, crayons, whatever you need, if you need. You want to make it pretty?
Jess, I noticed that November has the same date as that 227.
Oh,
370.
yes, it is supposed to be 370. Thank you. Sorry about that.
So those
Yeah, sorry. Thank you.
just so they don't steal our quotes.
No, I'm sorry. You guys are 370. Yeah, it was just a typo. So 373 if you want.
This is like the one thing.
She's going into the lawyer's office for
So like the whole.
We actually, you missed the part in Priscilla's presentation where we had to act out.
Actually, that's so cool.
Yeah.
He's got it.
The whole reason it was January, you said?
Page 53.
So why don't we choose that part?
I also think like there's a section where she's talking about and she says like talking about adult responsibilities, taking care of your brothers, and like you have like intimate relationships with guys. Page 2 is and she's like, oh no, that can't happen, and then like
Yeah.
she's like, oh, we experienced like a lot of
So you guys can really
feelings
focus
for
on that
a girl
first page.
your age.
That's true, right?
Yes.
Wait, this is the same chapter which is in the lawyer's office? She's supposed to go shrink and lawyer in the same chapter.
Well, right now she's in the lawyer's
Yeah,
office.
yeah, yeah. But then she walks, she goes to the string, like when the letter, after the letter thing breaks out.
Well, I guess if you already use it, thank you presentation, that's those are really actually.
Yeah, that too.
Take responsibility on
And then they can do
it.
little
Can't,
concept.
you've been acting like a child.
Okay, so we could do,
Maybe I
Oh
am.
yeah, sorry, I had a
you could do like,
music cycle.
after this.
Yeah, you learned it from NRC.
Yeah.
So should we do like a
We could just do quotes after the 17th.
That's definitely,
That's definitely.
that's the top of the charts.
Yeah, so why department will be easier?
Make a chart that describes law schools as thinkers. Can be word, lines, diagrams. Quotes is powerful.
Yeah. I mean, this comic
Chart if you want.
I'm just kidding. So we'll do that. Oh, the top one.
You got the site, shrink, you got slave, quote it out, but I can't do it a lot.
So everything is just kind of how I feel.
She says
There we go, that's the
you
one.
do realize
You got it?
of the responsibility you
That's
take.
the,
That's perfect.
I try to think about this on this plane, it's on the
And
slave
it's
one,
like ironic because you're
but I
like,
can't focus. So for a second.
and this conversation on the page right after that is, it's all about the sex.
yeah,
She's kind of like conceding, like, oh, I mean, everything was sex.
yeah.
Very intense.
Yeah, that's true.
And we can go down too.
Well, these are coming from the shrink.
It's complicated feelings, complex relations in their 20s and 30s and even older, right? It just shows that this whole part is really good.
Yeah, you basically take it.
And also, I don't know if the last one.
Chart diagram you wanna do?
You did a series of
It's very sort of like they implement so that's also good, like, I mean, it was very innocent in a sense. Yeah, because it's like,
And then you can just go like, we can just go.
so yeah.
And then we can do that.
Is like 3 minutes enough time to finish up your thoughts?
Yeah, it's.
All right, perfect.
Does anybody have an IC?
Yeah, look, she goes to like that specialty restaurant.
Oh, right.
Yes.
She do like little pictures and stuff. We do.
All right.
Okay.
Why are you so surprised?
Okay.
I thought I was just.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna do
You didn't want to do.
I don't wanna do it.
See, this is actually right, I'm used to it.
You got about a minute and a half.
Almost
Okay,
like
don't
the
worry,
big
yeah,
letters
her
that's
letter.
underneath.
Okay,
So it's, so I tell you that this is, because my hands in the chair.
Okay.
276.
So this was my fault.
This is him yelling.
Are you gonna
Sarah. And this is Sarah. Sarah's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I'm actually up next after this one. I took a page from your book with the posters to put up around the room. That teachers do.
Okay, so this is page you see?
Okay, about 1 more minute. Tie up your thoughts.
What page?
276.
Square leg.
Oh wait, the dad flips around on 274.
Alright, and then
The conversation with the therapist about you're taking on a lot of responsibility.
Like, you guys were talking about a time.
Well, like, I was just gonna say, if we did it
Sorry,
like
guys, don't
this,
keep telling me.
and then under it,
This is right now.
quite a few.
I was gonna picture on the calendar.
Oh wait, she's sorry.
Now it feels strong.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is the, I'm gonna draw the string. She always has a scarf on.
See if you understand.
She really does.
Did you understand what I was doing?
Did you know?
Okay, do I have any volunteers that want to present first?
We should go.
We'll go. Okay.
Oh, we present.
Carmichael's orange.
A little.
Yeah.
Just very quick.
Okay, so we focused on, this is the time when Sarah's meeting with Natalie, and her mom, for once, finally tells her what she did was wrong, and she, you know, she's kind of used to hearing this is the first time that someone from her family, someone she should look up to, tells her that she's wrong. Also, the possibility of Sarah going to trial at this point, it's not definite that she's going, but that's also loss of innocence, the realization that she might actually be punished for what she's done. Also, Carmichael talks about his family and his father, and kind of reflects his loss of innocence, but he's already kind of lost his innocence before Sarah. And then Justin makes mention how Emma was dragging everyone down with her death, so that in itself is a loss of innocence, being dead.
Great, so we can see how the internal loss of innocence, you know, Sarah acting very mean towards Emma caused all of these other things to occur. So sometimes one thing could lead to another. So we see that happening here. Great job, thank you, ladies. Okay, who wants to go next?
There you go.
John's group?
Yeah.
So we just picture drawings. Matthew drew all of them.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Phil did a great job.
Okay.
Oh, they had colors.
Yeah, I had markers.
We had a really good chapter, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can.
There you go. All right, I'll do, you need to just take one.
You'll do.
I want my favorite, well, I thought the best example of loss of innocence is when she's in her meeting with a psychiatrist in this chapter. The psychiatrist mentions that she's been through a lot in the last year, right? She had her first sexual relationship, she dealt with the death of a friend, and she parents her brothers, and her therapist is like, these are some pretty intense things for someone as young as you to go through. And then she says people in their 20s and 30s are still dealing with these, still have difficulty with these same issues. So she said, you know, you really are taking a lot for someone your age. So that's a really good example of loss of innocence. Priscilla's going to take the floor and explain a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like he was saying, she's kind of like, she kind of downplays how intense these situations are when the therapist is talking about it, or when her father's talking about it, like 2 pages before in 274. But eventually she has to kind of concede that these things actually are as intense as everybody else is making them out to be. And in on 274, where she argues with her father, she eventually concedes or reaches a breaking point, rather, where she says, maybe I don't really know how to act like an adult because I never was shown an example from either of you guys.
Right.
So the process of getting to that point is, it's like, that's a breaking point of loss of innocence for Sarah again.
Definitely.
And you're probably wondering what this one is. It's her first date with Carmichael, and I think that is a really good point of loss of innocence, because in a sense I think it's like the most grown up she's ever been because she's like going on this special occasion with Carmichael, and you see a different side to her, and you see that she learns of her dignity through this relationship that she has with Carmichael, and that in a sense is growing up.
Right. So
Maturity.
and when she starts talking with Carmichael, she acknowledges what she's done wrong in the past and comes to terms with how that has changed her. Great job, guys. Okay, next group.
We had the last chapter, and it starts with them discussing their college essays, and then it kind of leads into her idea of that website where people can apologize. And I think that we felt that it kind of symbolized her like growing up a little, and then being like, maybe other people are feeling how I am and want to apologize. And then it ends with her letters to Emma saying that it'll stick with her forever, and then Brielle saying that they just weren't good friends to each other, and that's really, I feel like, her whole loss of it. Like, she is growing up, she's accepted what she's done wrong, she's moving on.
Because in the beginning of the novel, she kind of played it off like it wasn't that big of a deal, it didn't really bother her, and then by the end of the novel, you kind of see this like heart inside of her that that guilt is kind of beginning to shine through, where this website is her way of trying to not make things better, but try to cope with what happened with Emma.
Right, exactly. Great job. I like your pictures, how they represent everything. And yeah, I definitely agree with you. This chapter is where she really accepts what happened and allows that to influence her life in the future and helps her to help other people who are in similar situations. Great job, thank you. And last but not least,
One of the WPYLs is connected networks.
So January chapter really starts with her asking Dylan, do you have a thing? Like, she can't even think of the word condom, or she's so innocent, she doesn't know the word. And as it progresses up to them actually doing the deed, these are things that she either thinks or refers to. And the first thing is liquid balls, and then wasted. So she's drinking right away. And for a young person, that is something that is the opposite of innocent. Then she think hazily, oh my God, turn my head, dark in here, nervous, throw up. This is all before they've actually had sex. Crappy made-for-TV movie. After this, I won't have to worry about it again. And then she has a moment of clarity. She says, I felt sober for a second, and now I feel drunk. So she starts in a place where she's so innocent she can't even come up with the word condom, and then she goes through this whole cycle to the actual point where she loses her innocence, and that gives her a moment of clarity. Then it's right back into the muddle that existed before.
yeah, no, great job, guys. Yeah, I like how you had the stuff inside the box too, and that last little bit at the end outside of the box where she kind of comes to her senses a little bit for a few seconds there. That was great. So what we did is we modeled how we can look in the book and we can see how throughout the book, Sarah has all these different experiences, internal and external, that change her as a person forever.